nation's capital as they attempt to take a stranglehold on this best-of-7 series. They have never lost a best-of-7 when leading 2-0 against Ottawa, and Ottawa has never won a series when trailing 2-0 in their history. So there is history there in one way or another, but it will be interesting. As we can see on the monitor, the crowd is obviously very much heavy with Ottawa fans, and that's to be expected. But I'm sure there will be a good smattering of Leaf blue and white in there as well as we get to the custodians of the Cord Cottages. Anthony Stolarz has a 1.95 goals against average in the 2 victories for the Maple Leafs and a robust .934 save percentage. Linus Ullmark is 0-2, and 4.39 is an issue. An even bigger issue is the .800 save percentage, as they are brought to you by Molson. Molson, everyone in.
Yeah, and I think the key for the Leafs in this game, Joe, first 5 or 6 minutes is just weather the storm. Crowd will be loud. Ottawa is going to be physical. Every hit is going to bring a reaction from the crowd.
Well, the puck is dropped and we're underway as Riley shoots it down into the Ottawa zone. Trapped on the far boards, a couple of hits there by 2 of the Leafs, and it comes to center, and it is lifted into the zone by Ridley Gregg. Gregg up against the boards, trying to come out with it. Puck comes free, and it is grabbed off there by Nyes, and Nyes finds his defenseman, and Brandon Carlo will roll it down into Ottawa territory. Marner up forechecking as the puck goes around the boards, and Zub will get it up on the wing, but unable to handle that pass was Michael Amadio, and the Leafs have it back in their own zone. One change for the Maple Leafs this game, and that is Max Pacioretty into the lineup, and Nick Robertson a healthy scratch as it's brought by Stützle to the Leaf zone. In on the left wing, and a shot is directed wide and up into the screen by goaltender Stolarz as Tkachuk and McCabe get shoving a little bit. And that's to be expected.
And Craig Berube is stressed right from the start about being disciplined, not fall into the trap of trying to retaliate against Tkachuk or Gregg. As we see Gregg, before that, Nyes, both trying to get off. Gregg holding him out from getting back into the Leaf bench. And then Brady Tkachuk had a hit on Pan a little bit earlier, but then afterwards, after the whistle, kind of a late hit.
Oh, that's nice. They got a Leaf suck chant going. Well, little brother getting into the act as the puck goes out into the center ice area. Leafs with it again. Drop back to the defense. Benoit gets a return pass on the left wing side and goes up the ice to center. That's grabbed off by Yarncrook. Dropped back for OEL. He gets to the line, but it's going to be offside as it is shot in. He had to make an extra move at the blue line, and I think it was Steven Lorenz who anticipated him going straight in. Had to jump the gun a little bit. And a face-off coming back. Oh, nice, attractive young lady in blue and white sitting right behind Craig Berube in the Toronto Maple Leaf bench.
And one of the more humorous things I've seen over the last couple of days is the difference between game 1 and 2. Mark Savard, the assistant coach to Craig Berube, celebrating a goal in game 1, and Craig Berube just shot him a dart as if to say, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Yeah.
It's game 1, first goal.
First goal, yeah.
First goal of game 2, Mark Savard was a little more subdued.
Yeah. You don't think Berube has a handle on this team? Off the boards, played out into the center ice area by Bobby McMahon. A delayed offside gives the Leafs a little more room. And the pass goes ahead, and now here's Pacioretty sending it into the right wing corner, and he goes in there against Montepallo and drapes him in against the boards as Domi gets it back to the point. Morgan Rielly with a pass that goes to the side of the goal. McMahon bodies his man to come away with the puck and plays it around to an empty corner. Pinching down is Brandon Carlo, and it's around back of the net with a couple of good hits already. Montepallo getting it out on the wing, and the Senators trying to get it to the Leaf zone, and they do. Rielly plays it right back out at center, played back in by William Nylander. Nylander has difficulties with it, and it'll finally go free, and Morgan Rielly has it, playing it off the boards, missing a hit from Stützle, who missed Rielly and grabbed the boards. Played out at center now by Nick Jensen and down to the Leaf zone. Quickly played up the wall by Riley, but it was blocked. And it is played off onto the right wing side, and Jake McCabe carries to center with Tavares onto the wing on the right wing side and played into the corner by the Leafs. Holmberg, it goes around the boards. Holmberg tripped and fell in back of the Ottawa goal, and now the Senators get it down into the Leaf zone. Tkachuk with a shot. That is blockered away nicely, and it caroms all the way to center, and Holmberg, late coming out, is early going in, and the shot is stopped, and the crowd erupts in a tremendous roar as Omark makes a fairly routine save. And I don't blame him. He's got to play better.
Well, he's given up a number of goals on these chances where it's just been shooter versus goaltender. And I think, you know, when you look at the overtime winner by Max Domi, you've got to cut him some slack. There was traffic in front, including Simon Benoit, who had dropped the puck.
I went almost stuck under his arm. No.
Yep.
Yeah, Max hit the goalpost and put it in. I mean, it was a pretty good shot. The play was the flyby by Batherson.
Now, and the giveaway, he gave the puck away first.
Yep.
I made the mistake in the broadcast and saying it was Benoit that gave the puck away in the tying goal for Ottawa. Benoit had gone behind the net and didn't get the pass.
Played down into the Toronto zone. Greg hustles after it, but Benoit beat him to the puck, but it goes into the corner. Pass intercepted by Benoit, launched high to center ice off a glove, and the Senators have it at their own blue line. 3 minutes into the books, no score, and it is played in over the line, and the Leafs have it again. Shots are even at one apiece. The shot just ahead of the Pontus Holmberg break didn't reach the net. It went off Leaf defenseman and bounded out at center ice. That's why Holmberg was able to get away. Now the puck in the center ice area. Senators play it off onto the near wing. Brought in over the line by Nick Cousins. And there's a long shot that is handled easily by Stolars. And then trying to get in there is David Perron to try and create a little more.
And got caught with a bit of a high stick with a pushing and shoving. Did the head snap, I think, trying to draw the penalty in the process. Ottawa continues to do this, right? You saw Nick Jensen after the save that Allmark made off Pontus Holmberg. Nick Jensen cross-checking guys out of the way.
Going to be coincident minor penalties here, I believe.
Penalty, roll number 25, 57.
Perron and Brandon Carlo are going to the penalty box.
I think this is a matter of just the referees trying to get this under control early.
Well, let's introduce them. Francis Saint-Laurent and Kendrick Nicholson are the referees. James Tobias and Trent Noor will work the lines.
4-on-4. Leafs are going to go with Matthews, Marner, McCabe, and Caniff face off in their own zone.
Waved out is Shane Pinto. Matthews will take the draw, or will he? Linesman going over face-off etiquette with both combatants, and the draw is won cleanly by the Maple Leafs. McCabe sends the puck back at the net. Tanev got turned around and then knocked down, but the puck goes to McCabe. Back into the corner for the Leafs, and now looking to move it up is Marner, who's stationed in back of the goal. Marner with a pass through the skates and legs to get it to Matthews. Left wing side, dropping for McCabe as they get in over the line. To Riley in front of the net for Marner, and it was deflected just away from him. Marner spins to get away from one. Marner goes around back of the net, comes out in front, and Riley had a whack at it, but it went wide of the goal, and it's swept in front of the net again, this time by Matthews. But out come the Senators, and across the line was Shane Pinto. Pinto's pass was broken up a bat as it comes back to the blue line, and a long shot by Pinto went wide of the goal. Nick Jensen back at his own at the blue line, works down into the half boards, waiting for teammates to change. Marner had to go off of his skate, and it's down the ice, but icing waved off. I don't know how you could have called that icing, because it wasn't shot, just went off of him. Now the Sens bring it in over the line with Stützle. Shot from an angle is wide. The rebound trickles in front of the net, and a penalty is coming here to Toronto. Brady Tkachuk taken down in front of the net. And John Tavares will go to the penalty box. And the first power play of this game will go to the Ottawa Senators.
A huge face-off here in the penalty kill as well. 4-on-3 for 43 seconds. As Brady Tkachuk, I mean, it is, you know, a stick into the midsection, but boy, the theatrics of going down and you got a hook in the hands and your head snaps back to draw it.
Penalty kill brought to you by your Ontario Honda dealers. Get home ice advantage on every drive with the new Civic Hybrid, proudly built here in Ontario. Visit your Ontario Honda dealers today. Draw one by the Senators. Played along the boards on the far side. It comes back to the point. Looking to the near side to find Batherson, and a shot deflects and goes up into the screen and out of play. That might have been Stützle who got that away, I believe.
Anthony Stolarz checking out the mask. That might have caught Stolarz
off the mask.
Yeah. Ottawa with
yeah, no, it was
lead.
Batherson.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Tkachuk was right in front and did tear him off the crown of his goal mask.
Ottawa has not led in the series.
Scotty Lawton, the lone forward. 32 seconds left in 4-on-3 play. As the draw is won by the Leafs.
Boy, what
maybe
a play.
by the, I don't know if Lawton just went forward with it, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he knocked it out of the zone. Sanderson got it up on the left wing. Played around the boards then by Stützle. It goes around back of the net. Leafs get a hold of it. And with a lot of open ice because of the 4-on-3 situation, it is easily shot down the ice.
Ottawa just 1 for 5 so far on the power play.
Sanderson getting it out at center. Giroux hits the line with a left wing pass for Tkachuk. He closes, doesn't shoot it, goes around back of the net, deflected away from an intended receiver, and it bounces to the line and out. It's a delayed offside. And Tkachuk goes ahead and pressures, which is probably a good thing. He got a whistle to save time on the power play, even though the faceoff should be brought back to almost the far blue line. They do it correctly here.
Right before that, Brady Tkachuk comes on a wrap around him on the Leaf net and tried to find Stützle in the right wing circle, but Mitch Marner read the play and was able to deflect it. That's how the puck got outside the line.
Minute 8 left in the power play. Draw one by Toronto. Tanev gets it down into Ottawa territory. Chabot works it back. Brought on over the line by Batherson. A shot deflected wide. It gone bouncing out in front of the net. Leafs chop at it, but don't get it out. Chabot kept it in. Far side now trying to work with it is Perron. Back to the blue line it comes. Near side for Zetterlund. And that shot didn't make it through. Wrapped around the boards, it'll find the point again, and Perron comes to the near side. Batherson into the corner. Batherson goes around back of the net. Off a body, it goes to Perron on the far side. Now back to Chabot. They try it again to the near side. A Zetterlund centering pass was knocked away there by goaltender Stolarz, and it's flipped around the boards and out and down the ice with 18 seconds left in the power play. Chabot sends it high and back in behind the net. Stolarz nicely fed into the corner to the defenseman who just went there knowing the goaltender would play it, and the Leafs get it out, and they'll kill off the remaining seconds in the power play. No score. First on the board is the power play opportunity for Ottawa. They're going to launch it in. Volleyball back out at center ice by Toronto. Sent in over the line on the left wing side for Cousins. Cousins knocked down there by Brandon Carlo. Puck comes free around back of the net. Tavares got it up on the wing, and Nyes gets it out into the center ice area. Cousins takes it back into his own zone. Now played by Sanderson in over the line and down into the Toronto end. Round the boards back of the net for Benoit. Nicely played ahead for Tavares. Dropped off for Brandon Carlo. He gets to the red line and shoots it in. And the Leafs are getting a change coming here.
Leafs have really not had much offensive zone time, have they?
No, not at all. I guess they're cheering for Zub, not booing. Just trying to keep ahead of everything. Brought to center ice now by Nylander. He'll flip it into the corner. Bodies his man. The puck went to the front of the net from Pontus Holmberg, but no one there. And now here's Stützle with speed down the left wing, trying to get around OEL. And the long reach of Oliver Ekman-Larsson took it away from him. Now Nylander back the other way. He is tackled. I trust that's a penalty. Oh, Okay. Game on. Brady Tkachuk tackles Nylander from behind. Shot from the point. Rattles wide off of Stolarz. That has to be at center ice.
Maybe all the complaining about the officiating is
Not
paying
yet.
off.
No, we're fine. We're fine. All's good. All's good here. Brought in over the line now, and a wrist shot steered wide easily by Stolarz. Sanderson playing it back to the point. A one-timer blocked in front of the net. The Leafs, after a broken stick, are able to muscle it out. And Nyes looks rink wide to find Morgan Rielly. He'll flip in, and then goes Matthews into the forecheck. Matthews gets a hit in on the boards as the puck comes out at center ice. Brought on now by Dylan Cousins. Cousins trying to go wide on Carlo, and the long reach of Brandon Carlo negated that. Puck is back at the Toronto goal, comes free to Matthews. Matthews gets it ahead and backhands it out at center ice, a little bit too far for Bobby McMahon to come up with. Senators right back in over the line. Cousins works in with a shot into the chest of goaltender Anthony Stolarz, and he will stop play.
And Bobby McMahon, Joe, you and I talked about this before going on the air, is somebody that you really want to see emerge. We've bemoaned the fact that he was not available for the Leafs in the playoffs last year against the Boston Bruins. Does not have a goal in this playoff and hasn't scored in 13 overall coming in.
NFL draft is on. I found a good tackler for somebody. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs nothing and the Senators nothing. Senators 0 for 1 on the power play. They have outshot the Leafs 5-1, mainly with the power play. And the draw in the circle to the left of Anthony Stolarz. Draw won by Toronto. Flipped high into neutral ice. Bounces off a defenseman, but unable to get to it was Yarncrook, and it's back out into the center ice area, played into the Toronto zone. Oliver Ekman-Larsson in there against the boards with Nick Cousins, got it out and out at center ice. Lorenz couldn't come up with it, forces it deeper down into the zone. Lawton will provide forechecking pressure, but now here's Amadio getting it ahead, and a pass deflects down into the Toronto end. Stolarz tucking it around back of the net, but too far for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Comes to the point and a drive. Whistle just wide of the goal. It comes to the near wing. Backhanded high off the glass, back of the net. Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets in there to take it away from the forechecker, and the puck comes up on the wing, and it is quickly played out at center and down into Ottawa territory. Jensen.
Well, we're going to call that icing as Steven Lorenz just taps it from the Leaf side of center ice. And now it's like Kelly Yarncroc chirping with somebody over the Ottawa Senators bench.
You know, one of the things I think it was Steve Simmons in his article today brought up, Anthony Stolarz is 7 inches taller and 63 pounds broader than Eddie Belfour, who in this series,
and of course,
not so long ago, was a stalwart in goal for the Maple Leafs.
Of course, when you go back to Mike Palmateer, Eddie Belfour was that much bigger than Mike Palmateer.
That's right. But that's amazing. And you know what? Haven't changed the size of the net.
No.
It's still 6x4.
But boy, I mean, easily no position in professional sports has changed more.
No.
Over the years.
No. They haven't changed the football. They haven't changed the baseball that much. Although now with the torpedo bats, I don't know. Apparently they haven't reached the Blue Jays. Played down into the Ottawa zone by the Leafs. A hit in boards eye against Shabbat. The puck along the wall. McMahon in there with Domi and Pacioretty working on it, and it goes to an open corner. Max gets there to get the puck free, centered. It bounces away and it's caught and thrown aside, and now Shabbat gets it up on the left wing side. Hard to the net is Zetterlund, and that was deflected just wide of the Leaf goal. Comes back on the near wing, and it is played by Brandon Carlo up on the boards, but not out. Centering pass, Stutzler, robbed by Stolarz. Big save from Anthony Stolarz. And the first big opportunity ends up being Zippo for the Ottawa Senators.
He's trying to force it up the left wing boards. It gets caught in traffic and funneled out to the high slot right onto the stick of Stützle. And Anthony Stolarz, how far out of the crease was he, Joe? 2 feet?
At
to
least.
be able to swallow that up.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Face off in the Toronto zone. The Leafs with just a single shot and are weathering what they expected to be a storm, you would think, with the Senators down 2-0 in the series. There's Nyes. Can't get the puck out. It goes off a body, bounces into the slot area. Here's Ridley Gregg trying to get a shot. That was knocked away, and Tanev, his pass blocked, but it is backhanded to center ice. And the Sens will shoot it right back in again. Tanev patiently waiting for it on the far half boards. Finds his defense partner back of the net. Jake McCabe with time on the left wing gets it out. The pass has gone too far. Is this another icing? I believe it is. So it'll come back into the Maple Leaf zone.
And the Leafs look like they've come out to say, okay, we're just going to weather the first 5-10 minutes of this period. But as we saw when they tried to do the same thing in the second period of game 2. Eventually, you're going to draw penalties. Eventually, they're going to get one that's going to bounce in off a skate. So for the Leafs, all right, first 12 minutes, you've survived it. Now
let's get the game plan going. Yeah. Tanev around back of the net, plays it off the boards and off a stick to center, but the Senators get to it at their own blue line. Jensen, lead pass, got in over the line. Tkachuk gets it down into the corner. Around back of the net it goes, looking for Stützle in front is Zetterlund. It comes back to the point, off on the near wing, and the Leafs can't get it out. Played along the boards and back of the net into the far corner. Tavares after it as it's deflected and bounces out at center ice. Jensen's going to rattle it right back in again. Oliver Ekman-Larsson pumps it around the boards. It's going to come to the near wing, and now Holmberg is able to deflect it out at center. Leafs get to the line and in. Tavares for Nylander. Nylander into the slot. Can't shoot it. Gets it into the corner. Back into the slot, and a shot by Tavares is stopped by Ullmark.
It's a little more long range than I think John Tavares would have liked, but a nice setup by Willie Nylander. The Leafs finally get the puck into the Ottawa zone. Nylander chases it down towards the right wing corner and just turns and spins it back to the high slot. But John Tavares, I mean, goal scorers are so good at this, right? I'm going to hang outside the traffic area. Tavares, well known for going to the front of the net and looking for loose pucks, but in this particular play, he sees the traffic all go towards the net. He hangs out to the high slot, and Nylander finds it.
Not sure what the crowd's all revved up about. Maybe it was the trumpeter or something. Not sure who's in the building. We haven't seen him. A long shot directed wide of the net by Ullmark. Riley carries down into the corner, was dragged to the ice. The puck goes around to the far side, and it'll be Zetterlund trying to get it out, and he has. Riley getting back to the loose puck back at the Toronto blue line. Quickly gets it ahead, and it's shot by Bobby McMahon down into the zone. Fired around the boards by Tyler Clevin. Trapped over on that side. Leafs get it back again for Domi. Domi working back into the corner. Pacioretty's gone to the front. So Domi in front of the goal. They bang away at it, and down is Ullmark to cover up on it. But the Leafs have had a couple of decent shifts here as Pacioretty gets into a little bit of a face wash situation going on in front of the Ottawa goal.
Ottawa has really initiated the most during the scrums. And it'll be interesting to see how long the officials let it go on. And we've seen
Ralphie, they're not even penalizing tackling.
But even when they throw, two guys off 4-on-4. See Bobby McMahon looking for the rebound. Obviously, he's going to be met with a little bit of ill humor.
6:47 to go in a scoreless first period.
Shots suddenly get a little closer at 6-4.
Draw to the right of Linus Ullmark. And the draw scrummed. It comes back to the point, kept in by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Flipped in along on the right wing boards, but did he stick handle it out? The linesman says he stick handled it out to put it offside. So the face-off is going to come in neutral ice. Even
if the linesman's wrong, don't matter now.
No.
By the way, Max Domi, I think a huge confidence boost scoring that overtime winner. But he did, when he played for Carolina, had 2 goals in a Game 7 win over the Boston Bruins. the 3-2 win over Boston.
And becomes the only father-son combination in the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs to score game-winning goals in the playoffs. Leafs back in their own zone, around back of the net. Shane Pinto tried to come out in front but couldn't. Marner was unable to reach it. Backhanded again along the boards. Marner settles it down and now looks for an outlet and makes a nice pass to find Benoit. And Simon Benoit launches it into the near corner. Nye's in pursuit but won't get there. Now it is Nylander on the far side after a change. Nylander took his man down. What with the referee's got to give him a little leeway after he was tackled earlier, and now brought to center ice by Sanderson and played on the backhand. In on goal, scooped aside by Stolars, and around the boards it'll come to Morgan Rielly. Rielly playing it out at center. Off a stick, controlled by Jensen. He has to wait for a teammate to get onside as Brandon Carlo was riding a little bit of interference there, not allowing the Sens player to get out of the Leaf zone, which is met with the booing, and now brought out at center ice by Toronto and shot back into Ottawa territory. Apparently it's offside, although we can't see the
I think it went over the glass.
Oh, maybe that's what it was. All right. So it is 5:28 left to play here in period number 1. There is no score. And you are listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs nothing and the Ottawa Senators nothing. 5 minutes and 28 seconds to play in period number 1.
You know, now in regulation time, the Leafs have gone 66 minutes and 12 seconds without a goal. John Tavares scoring a little over 8 minutes in the game, too, to put the Leafs up 2-0.
But there was an important goal mixed in there.
That's why I said regulation.
All right, fine. Up ahead at center ice, brought on by the Leafs and across the line. A pass looking for Lorenz goes into the corner. Lawton dragged down. The puck comes into his skates. And now Lorenz trying to dig it free. Lawton is there. Lorenz loses it. It goes into the far corner. And it'll be Montepallo getting it out at center ice, but a good hit there by, I think that was Lawton, as it goes down into the Senator zone. Chipped around the boards now by Toronto, unable to get to it. Lawton on the near boards as he takes his man down. Then he's taken down, but here is Yarncrook getting it back to the point, but the Leafs were in the midst of changing their defense. And it goes all the way back into the Toronto zone. Jake McCabe will bring it out, and he'll dish it off for Tanev. Left wing feed for Domi. Domi cuts to the middle of the ice, looks for the far side in front of the goal. Big save. The rebound comes in front of the net again, and Domi couldn't get his stick on it. McMahon had a great chance there, set up by Max Pacioretty. Played around the boards, and the Leafs will get it out. Chipped down into Ottawa territory. Puck goes back around the boards and out on the far side. And an icing coming up here against Ottawa. We're now out shooting the Leafs 7-5 with Bobby McMahon and Max Pacioretty working nicely down low. And
just a little bit into the skates of Bobby McMahon, but
never got a shot really, did he? He just redirected it.
But for Pacioretty, it was the only way to get it past Thomas Chabot was to go to Chabot's right to get it to McMahon. But if McMahon had sort of just backed off a little bit and had a little bit better target, that was a tap-in.
Face-off won cleanly by the Senators, rattled around the boards and down the ice by Thomas Chabot, which will bring the face-off right back from whence it came, inside the Ottawa zone. 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the first period. That is scoreless.
The big saves that have been made. Stolar's off Tim Stützle in the slot. And the Leafs' very first shot on goal, it was their only shot for about 12 minutes. That was Thomas Holmberg on the right wing side. Got in alone, and Allmark was able to stuff that out.
Chabot plays it out at center, trapped at the red line, backhanded to the blue line, but not into the zone at first, and then launched high into the Toronto corner on the near side. Riley goes back of the net, comes out on the near wing with a pass for Holmberg. Quickly ahead. Nylander breakaway into the goal. And Omar comes out nicely. Takes the angle, and the slap shot from Nylander, who has a grin on his face, is made by Linus Omar.
Boy, Nylander's so good at reading the play, as he hangs out around center and then takes off the tape-to-tape pass.
Boy, he could have baked that. Took one step to his right and had the entire net.
The Daryl Sittler move.
Yes.
On Vladimir Zarilla. The Canada Cup.
Omar came way out of the goal. He was 2 feet out of the crease when that hit him. And Willie had time, and he had control of the puck, too.
He tried to go 5-hole, didn't he?
I think he did. 3:31 to play. So Linus Omar has answered some questions here in the first period. The draw scrummed. Senators unable to get it up the boards cleanly. Kept in at the point by Tanev. Little give and go. Comes to the near side to McCabe. He doesn't shoot it at the net. Into the corner. Marner gets it back into the slot. There's the shot by McCabe. There's a rebound in front of the net. And it's cleared to an open wing. And the Senators will get it out with Shane Pinto bringing it to the line and in. Rolls off his stick, but it comes back. And a wrist shot by Amadio went well wide. And has caromed off the boards and gone up into the screen. And out of play.
Shots on goal just 7-6 now, favoring the Ottawa Senators. I'll be honest, I'm surprised that Ottawa has come out more cautious than aggressive here in this game. I thought this was going to be one of those, 15 hits in the first 3 or 4 minutes, get the crowd into it. The Leafs have just sort of kind of stalled them and frustrated them for the most part in the Toronto end.
If the Sens fans spent as much time cheering for their team as cheering against the Leafs, it would certainly probably help.
Well, they haven't done it in a while.
Well, there's that too, I guess. Played down into the Ottawa zone. They get it out into the neutral ice and down in on the right boards for Giroux. He stops up against Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Shot went off the side of the goal, wide of the net. Punch back to the blue line. Another shot in traffic, stopped by Stolars. And the Leafs get it out at center ice, and it'll be flipped into the zone by Calle Yarncrook. Lorenz runs into a man back of the net. Both players to the ice as it slides down into the Toronto zone. Don't know if either of them are hurt because it's not on the screen that we're watching. As Pacioretty comes over the boards, now Jensen with a shot kicked away by Stolars. Another hit on the boards. It's been a physical first period. Played back down into the Toronto end. Riley gets it up on the left wing for Pacioretty. Ahead for McMahon. On to Domi with one man back. Got a shot away, but it was blocked by the defense of Shabbat. Centering pass. Shot off the side of the goal then by Bobby McMahon. Looking for McMahon again. Banking it back to the point. D to D it goes to Tanev. Tanev holds. Chipped along the boards for McMahon. Out of the reach of Domi, though, and the puck back into the area behind the Ottawa goal. Minute 36 to go in the first period. No score. Giroux fires it down into the Toronto zone. Benoit propels it around the boards. It'll be tipped out at center. Unable to get free, though, was Nylander. Something going on behind the play that we are not privy to.
Now,
Brady Tkachuk is talking to the officials again, rather vociferously, I may add. But it looks like he may be going to the penalty box. Well, that's a shame.
See what it is. It was a big collision in behind the Ottawa net. I don't know who got the worst of this.
Clevin saw Lorenz coming, and he stuck out the rear end and backpedaled a little bit. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
Holmberg took a high
Brady
stick.
Tkachuk on an elbow into the face of Connors Holmberg. And boy, how disastrous this could be. I have no idea how you can argue this.
So the draw in the Ottawa zone. The Leafs on the power play, 4 of 7. The draw won by Tavares. Back to the blue line is Matthews. Now to Marner. Quickly into the corner for Willie. Passing in front, and it hit a stick. It comes back now and is grabbed off by Tavares. Tavares Plays it back to the blue line to Marner. Wrist shot coming blocked. Rebound back of the net. Tavares in the far corner. Back to the blue line. Another pass by Marner. He can't get it past the first defender. Has it again. Pass into the corner. Tavares coming out in front. And Nyes couldn't redirect it, and it's shot down the ice by Ottawa. 47 seconds left in the period. Leafs trying to get it in over the line. Matthews does, but can't get a bouncing puck. Then he did get a bouncing puck to behave. It comes around back on the corner. Tavares on the far half boards. Leaves it for Matthews. Matthews to Tavares. Tavares trying to jam it in on the short side, and it went off a stick, and it is shot down the ice now by Ottawa.
Boy, he still looks dangerous, so doesn't it? The power play.
They're taking it to the net a lot. 15 seconds left in the period. 55 in the power play. Nyes down the left wing boards into the corner. Got it around back of the net. Matthews can't come up with it. Pinned to the boards there by Gregg. And the final 2 seconds ticking down here. And that'll do it. And another penalty coming here. For cross-checking. Is Nyes getting it or Matthews?
Not sure. We had... Yeah, it looks like the Leafs are going to get this. I thought it was Thomas Chabot was the one throwing the cross-checks early. And the official decides, no, we're going to even things up here. We took one captain off. We owe it to the other captain to send him off. I think if we get a look at the replay, there are a lot of cross-checks thrown by Chabot in behind the net. We're going to see everybody just scrambling. Chabot, yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And Matthews gets...
Oh, my goodness.
6 cross-checks by Chabot. Matthews delivers one in retaliation, and he gets the
I have no
call.
idea what the official saw. I mean, it's...
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is... You know, I realize we sound like homers, but we're just looking and saying that we're seeing a replay. We haven't seen anything.
We've been accused of being homers. Why wouldn't we be homers?
Yeah.
Don't you want the Leafs to win?
Let's live up to it.
Okay, we're doing a good job so far. That was a terrible call.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming along with our first period intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Score after a period of play and a lot happening at the end of the period. We watched as Thomas Chabot had 6 or 7 cross-checks go, and then the television shot that we got showed Austin Matthews heading to the penalty box for what appeared to be a nothing cross-check, and then it turns out it's Matthew Nyes who ends up getting the penalty, and we haven't seen a replay of Matthew Nyes doing anything yet, so hopefully we will get that we can at least verify why he's in the penalty box.
Well, they're going to start with John Tavares, Willie Nylander here 4-on-4 before Brady Tkachuk comes out.
Leafs to the left, puck is dropped, and we're underway. 4-on-4. Nyes gets the cross-checking call, and Chabot gets nothing. Here's Tavares in with a shot, and it was a high riser that went over top of the goal. Senators break it back out with Shane Pinto coming to center. Ridden off the disc nicely there by the back checking of Willie Nylander. Leafs get it up on the left wing now for Riley. Riley to the line, a left wing pass. Dropped off for Tavares. He doesn't shoot it. Works back towards the blue line. Stops it up. Gives it to Nylander. On his forehand in the slot. Going wider. Still with it. Now around back of the net. Stops up. Comes out in front and didn't deliver a shot. And then took down... A tripping call coming to Willie Nylander.
And it'll be a 5-on-3 for a minute 15 for the Senators. Nylander stopped, lost the puck, and Ridley Gregg tried to jump around him and fell. And Nylander's going to go for a trip.
Wow.
And watching this again.
Yeah, he stuck the knee out. And the penalty will send the Senators to a 5-on-3. The Leafs had a 5-on-3. It lasted 3 seconds when they scored.
And it was Willie Nylander that did it.
Yep. Draw in the Leaf zone is won cleanly by Ottawa. Sanderson back at the point. Dishes off on the far side for Batherson. Down into the corner. Tkachuk stationed in front of the net. Batherson with it again. Mishandled the puck. Had to go back and retain it. Minute left in the two-man advantage. Here's a pass on the near side. Back into the slot again. To the right wing side. Still no shot. Back it goes to Stützle. Stützle fakes a shot. Over on the far side. No one can get an angle to the net just yet. Back to Sanderson. Now to Stützle. A shot stopped by goaltender Stolarz, and the Leafs fired off the boards and get it out and down the ice. 40 seconds left in the two-man advantage. On for Stützle. Got away from Marner. Across the line it goes to Tkachuk. Back to the point once more. Batherson to Sanderson. Left there now Giroux. Giroux works down into the corner with a shot and they score! Claude Giroux, the veteran, gets the first lead of the series for the Ottawa Senators. On a horrible first call, but a legitimate second call for the 5-on-3.
And the power play is going to continue for the Ottawa Senators. Finally, they get it to the net. Giroux just takes it in the high slot. And with traffic in front, most of that traffic is Brady Tkachuk. The Leafs just sort of leave him alone there. But you can't afford to have one of your guys tied up when you're down 5-on-3. And Giroux just sifts it through the maze and beats Stolar's blocker side. Ottawa 1-0.
Minute left in the power play now. As it's played in over the line and knocked by Marner out at center ice and down into Ottawa territory.
I think the
first power play goal of the, or second power play goal of the series for the Ottawa Senators. Brought in over the line. Batherson on the left wing side for Tkachuk. He takes it into the corner. Now back at the net it goes. Stützle trying to get it in front and sweep the line to the goal as it comes to the left wing side. Sanderson sending it around the boards. It'll be trapped over there by Stützle. Stützle looking in front of the net, trying to find Batherson. It's knocked off his stick. Comes to the near side. Big save made there by Stolarz. Another shot wide. Cleared into the corner then by McCabe. Kept alive by Ottawa. Far side it goes. Trying to get a pass into the slot as they come back to the point. Sanderson, the one-timer then on the near boards by Dylan Cousins was blocked. 3 seconds left in the penalty. Sanderson to the far side. Gets it in the slot again. A shot. Blockered away. High in the air it goes. And it's trickled wide of the net. I think Stolarz thought that was into the screen. Nylander is able to poke it out into the center ice area.
Boy, Brandon Carlo broke his stick as well. So the Leafs were actually back down almost 5-on-3.
Played in over the line by Ottawa. Pass into the slot that Tkachuk didn't handle. He's able to take it away from Nylander, though, and got a shot away. Knocked down by Stolarz, who's able to cover up on it. Benoit, whoa, was rattled down by Shane Pinto. Oh, both are going to go off. This is all Francis Saint-Laurent.
Yeah, I mean,
this is, this is
obviously the worst part is giving up the goal, but the Leafs took both those penalties in the offensive zone. Yeah, Benoit has done what Ottawa's done after every penalty, which is give a Senator a shot for coming in on Stolarz. Like all Benoit does is put his hand on the helmet of Pinto, who drops like a sack of hammers. Pinto gets up and drills Benoit. And then Brady Tkachuk is chirping Benoit all the way to the penalty box.
Well, Francis Saint-Laurent has had a busy first, 13 minutes, 13 seconds. He has made every call that has been adjudicated in this one. Face off in the Toronto zone. 4-on-4. And the draw won cleanly by John Tavares. The Leafs have really dominated the face-off circle, particularly in the offensive end. Played out at center for Nylander. Nylander trying to flip it ahead there for Riley. Had it partially blocked, but Nylander is able to steal it back. Centering pass into the slot area. Tavares got a shot away, and it went over top of the goal. Nylander back to the point to Oliver Ekman-Larsson into the slot for Riley. Riley for Tavares. Tavares trying to get it back, and it's knocked away. And a partial break here for Cousins. He's in on goal and stopped by Stolarz. Cousins taken to the boards.
Boy, Willie Nylander's got to be stronger on the puck. Almost gave the puck away seconds earlier and then kind of did a flyby.
Tavares in over the line, stops up at the half boards, looks back into the corner, gets his man. Now a pass in front by Riley was broken up, and the Senators will break it out on the left wing. Stützle into the zone, can't get around the Leaf defense. Good play made by Max Domi, who is filling in. Bobby McMahon turns back in his own zone. Trying to elude one man, finds Tanev. Chris Tanev stops it up. He'll go to his defense partner, and Jake McCabe is going to drop it off now for McMahon as they cycle back in the Toronto zone. McMahon trying to find skating room and does to get it into the zone. Stops into the corner, pushing it around back of the net. McCabe couldn't help him out, and McMahon into the forecheck here, trying to get it away from Zub, and Zub gets taken down, and the puck comes to center ice. Leafs play it back along the boards. Domi getting it freed up for Matthews. Matthews to McCabe, who rolls it in wide of the Ottawa goal. 1-0 Senators. A power play goal, 5-on-3. And for the first time in this series, the Sens have the lead. Played in on a wrist shot taken by Ridley Gregg. Handled easily there by Stolarz. Marner around back of the Toronto goal. Dropping it back as he's pressured by Zetterlund. Pass up at center ice. Tanev across the line. Nyes to Marner. Missed the puck, then shot it into the slot area. But it's broken up and carried back the other way by Zetterlund. In on the wing. Knocked away there by Tanev. Puck goes around back of the net. Unable to center it. The Leafs are going to get it on the near wing. And Nyes bodied but got the puck ahead. Cleared back by Marner. And Tanev will take it around back of the goal. Christopher Tanev getting it out at center. Off Nyes' stick, but not in deep enough. And the Sens get it right back into the Toronto zone. Benoit took a high stick to the face, but right there was Francis Saint-Laurent. He apparently didn't see it. Back into the corner again. It goes for Perron. Perron ringing the boards and back of the net. Good poke check made there by Stolarz, and the puck in the slot area. And that was shot wide of the goal. Great poke check by Stolarz, but then the Leafs didn't take advantage of it. They'll get it down into Ottawa territory now.
He may have got a glove on that last Ottawa chance as well. 15-7 now. Senators back out in front in the shots on goal total.
Played into the Toronto blue line area, shot in over the line, and the Leafs will regroup back in their own end with Morgan Riley. Looking up ice, finds Brandon Carlo. Carlo up the middle for Pontus Holmberg across the line to the left wing side. Dropping it back for Riley now to Carlo. Wrist shot coming. That deflected wide of the Ottawa goal. Nylander on the far boards got it into the slot, but it was just out of the reach of John Tavares. And now here are the Senators starting out of their own end. Nick Jensen plays it down into the Toronto end. Stolarz out of the goal to play it off to the defense. Oliver Ekman-Larsson looks up ice, got it out to the blue line, rink wide for Domi. Max is in over the line into the slot with a shot that was blocked. Big rebound, but it goes to the far side, and Shabbat gets it ahead at center ice now for Zetterlund. Zetterlund over the line, had it knocked away, and it's cleared up on the wing, and it's going to go out at center ice, and Domi has it again. Got it freed up for Bobby McMahon. McMahon trying to get through the defense, but had it knocked away by Shabbat. Sens will counter and get it back into the Toronto zone. Batherson couldn't penetrate. Now Tanev gets it right back out into the center ice area.
Now
we got a whistle here for something.
That playing the puck with a high stick, or is it an Ottawa penalty?
Oh, I don't know, because we can't see the official on the screen, so we really can't tell you. And I think we're going to a commercial break here, so we will find out what's going on when we get back, as Ottawa has a 1-0 lead on a goal by Claude Giroux. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph back with you. And is there a penalty or not? Yes. Okay. It appears that Stützle No. Okay, you were
No,
wrong.
no, it was
Batherson gets the penalty.
I thought it showed.
Well, they showed, and then they don't show, and then you don't know. And anyway, the Leafs on the power play for the second time in the game.
Barr's kicked out. Matthews comes in for the draw.
And then Pinto is waved out by the linesman.
You're just not putting a stick down. Defensive player has to put the stick down first.
So Ridley Gregg will take the face off against Tavares, and Tavares wins it cleanly, or excuse me, Matthews won it cleanly. Shot by Marner, blocked in front of the net, and the Senators are going to break it out. On the left wing side is Pinto trying to work into the slot area, and it's turned over, and Nylander with a quick out back the other way. Matthews across the line. Left wing side with a shot into the glove of Ullmark. On an odd man rush, presented by the breakup of the rush by the Maple Leafs back there, and Mitch Marner.
Well, this is where the 5 forward gets a little dicey. They're not used to having the mindset of 2 guys have to be back. And you saw there, Mitch Marner was the lone man back. They were able to break it up and have an odd man rush the other way, but Matthews.
Good play by Marner to keep the puck in at the blue line, into the slot area for Tavares. Down low. Nice. Tripped up. Trip, but no 5-on-3 coming. It's okay. Everything's fine. Pass into the slot area. Now here's Tavares. Left wing side, dropping it off for Nylander. Nylander holds. Top of the circle. Down into the corner for Nyes. Back it comes to Marner. Quickly to Nylander. Shot blocked. Nyes centers. Scores! A centering pass by Nyes. Hit a body or a skate, and ever so slowly trickled over the goal line, and the Leafs have tied the game.
Very similar to the goal that Tkachuk scored in Toronto off the skate of Brandon Carlo on the power play. Nyes tries to throw a backhand pass across the top of the crease. He's got Matthews there. He's got Tavares there. Boy, Matthews took a swipe at it and couldn't get a stick on it as it slowly slid over the goal line.
Period brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365 must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly. Visit connexontario.ca. As a long shoot-in ends up into the screen. And Matthew Nyes ties the game with his second goal and his second playoff goal. Or, excuse me, second power play goal of this playoff.
The first one was a rebound that he was able to control and sweep around the pad. Boy, that last chance the Leafs got, that glanced off the mask of Ullmark.
Yeah, Lorenz letting it go off the left wing. That fourth line of Lorenz, Yarncrook, and Lawton has been dynamite. At the point, Riley with a shot, and that redirected, and a good toe save made by Ullmark. Played back to the Leaf blue line. Shot blocked by Riley. Down into the corner. Chasing after it, Dylan Cousins. Played to the point. Long shot. Blockered away by Stolars. And the Leafs are going to get it out into neutral ice, but without control. Played back by Ottawa. Right wing side for Zetterlund. Into the slot. Wrist shot high over top of the Leaf goal. Puck along the near boards. Domi unable to track it down. Batherson got it to the point. Long shot directed wide of the net. And the Leafs are going to send it out into neutral ice. Sens have to wait for teammates to get onside. Pacioretty knocked down a clearing attempt and then was hauled down. Now Domi getting it in over the line, but not in deep. And the Leafs are changing as the Senators have it under control in their own zone. Leafs won, the Senators won. Second period, almost halfway through. Played up on the right wing side and in by Nick Cousins. Cousins gets it down into the corner. Coming out with it is Gaudette. Gaudette cycles it back behind the net. Cousins with it again. Perron trying to help out. Against the boards, the Leafs free it up. And it's knocked around back of the net for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who propels it up on the wing. And the Leafs will get it out into the center ice area. Knocked down on a clearing pass and brought in quickly by Yarncrook. Missed a hit there and a pretty good one by Clevin. The puck into the corner now. Here's Yarncrook trying to get it back along the boards for Lorenz, and it is poke free, and the Senators will get it to center ice and dump it into the Toronto end. McCabe reverses the puck to avoid a hit, and Tanev gets it out at center ice with a pass for Jake McCabe. McCabe into the forecheck as he gets it down into the corner. Got a hit in there on Sanderson, and then the puck comes free, and the Sens will get it out at center ice. 1-1 tie, 9:19 left, second period. Long, easy shot handled by 6'7", 200 and a whole lot, Anthony Stolarz.
Especially when he gets out at the top of the crease. If he's squared up.
You don't, never mind the net. You don't see that end of the rink. It is a 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Matthew Nyes tying the game for the Maple Leafs at 8:31 on the power play from Nylander and Marner. His second of this playoff round, his fifth career playoff goal. He has it up against the boards, and now it looks to flip it high to center ice. Marner was unable to track that down. Sens have it back in their own zone. Brought out by Sanderson, almost stolen by Marner. Played in on the right wing side by Shane Pinto. Round on the boards, it's going to come to Marner. He doesn't get to it. It comes back to the point. Long shot off the shoulder of Stolarz. Deflects down into the corner. And the Leafs trying to come out with it, and they do, as Marner is able to punch it ahead, but Matthews couldn't control the puck. Here the Sens back with it with Pinto. In on the left wing. Matthews took it away from him. Poked to the line and grabbed by Marner. Marner looks for Matthews and finds it. Matthews is going to curl back into the blue line area. Looking for some room to move. Fans on a pass. Played back up at center ice. Oh, the fans did some nice play-by-play there. Brought it center ice now for Sanderson, and the Sens will get it in over the line. Stützle trying to spin away. Played it around back of the net for Tkachuk on the far wing. Tkachuk mishandles the puck, but gets it back behind the net. Coming out with it is Giroux. Giroux had it taken away, and the Leafs have it now under control with Nylander. Out at center ice for Riley. Riley into the slot. Oh, and a pass there for Pontus Holmberg, and if he'd have been able to control the puck, he was right dead in the slot. Tkachuk plays it around back of the Toronto goal. Grabbed off there by Tanev. Tanev punches it ahead. Nylander with skating room to center. To the line and in. Works down into the right wing corner. Trying to outmuscle his man for the puck, but drags it into the corner. Domi looking to try and help out. Puck is still free. Now cleared back of the net. And the Senators will get it airmailed high out and down the ice. And this will be an offensive zone faceoff coming after an icing call with 7:16. And Brady Tkachuk is bent over a little bit and heading to the Ottawa bench.
Why is he going right to the dressing room? He's doubled over. Right where the backup goaltender is.
Yeah, he's going down the walkway to the Toronto bench.
What it is, a few cross checks given in the corner to the left of Linus Ullmark.
No, something's happened here. I don't know what the upper body injury was. That looked like he was pointing to a groin pull.
Yeah.
And he's gone to the...
There was really no collision or anything.
No. The Tkachuk family and the Ottawa Brass obviously concerned by this. Draw is scrum. The Leafs get it back to the point. McCabe with a wrist shot in traffic. Lays there, but no one could get to it before Giroux took it to safety. But the Leafs keep it in with Tanev on the near boards. Backhanded down into the corner now for Pacioretty. Pacioretty ran into Domi more than he did the Ottawa player. And now the Leafs get a break here as it's kept in by Riley. Near corner for Pacioretty. Centering, looking for McMahon, and it was knocked away from him. Here's McCabe to the side of the goal. Can't get it into the slot. And the Senators are going to break it out into neutral ice, and Stützle just gets it in over the line to try and get a change going. Leafs backhanded right back down into Ottawa territory. Cousins got it off the boards to the Leaf blue line. Broken up there by Matthews, and that produces a delayed offside, which is whistled down, but Tkachuk is back on the bench. And not any worse for the wear. Maybe the hip check from Riley earlier that, and then, kind of
One thing,
spun his groin a little or
one thing
whatever.
you got to say about both of them, both Matthew and Brady, is they play through injuries.
Oh, they sure do.
Remember when they
Their old man was pretty good at that too.
when Florida lost to Vegas in the Stanley Cup Finals, it was revealed that was it a separated shoulder or something Matthew had played most of the playoffs with.
I remember Steve Thomas doing the exact same thing. Played along the boards and into the corner it goes. Leafs in the offensive zone, trying to dig it free on the boards with Lorenz. Lawton looking to help out, sends it back in for Lorenz again. Now for Calle Yarncrook, back of the net. They're working on the end boards. It comes around to the far side. Lawton was unable to get to it. And now the Senators have some space, and they'll bank it out at center ice, and Cousins will get it in on the left wing. Shot in by Gaudette. Round the boards to the far side. Benoit grabbed onto there as it comes back to the blue line. Sanderson at the left point. Goes D to D with it. Slap shot by Zub. Deflects wide and into the near boards. Lorenz couldn't get it out. They'll get another opportunity and is filled in there by the pinch of the defense. And the Senators keep the puck alive. Oh, what a hit by Lorenz. Are they calling this a penalty? Oh, wow.
Boy, and guess who's called it?
Our man?
I believe so.
Francis Saint-Laurent has had a busy night.
I'm going to say that Stützle tried to jump around him, and I don't know if if Lorenz just maintained his position or he stuck the foot out. Either way, Ottawa gets another power play.
Fourth power play opportunity of the game coming up. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. So a power play goal here or power play opportunity rather for the Ottawa Senators. Their fourth of the hockey game. And they win the draw. Sanderson, near side, Cousins, down into the corner. Tkachuk is on the ice, so he's apparently all right. Cousins mishandles the puck, and it comes out into the center ice area. Lorenz gets the penalty for tripping. Stützle in across the line. Knocked off his stick into the corner by Tanev, who crashes in there. Grabbed off by the Leafs and airmailed out and down the ice by Marner.
And if you're scoring at home, it is 10-9 Ottawa power play advantages in a series.
Brought to center ice now by Sanderson. Drops the puck back. Stützle got it on the wing across the line. Batherson couldn't come up with it. It goes around to the near wing. Stützle back to the point. Sanderson, far side. Working in there now is Cousins. Cousins around back of the net. Batherson for Stützle. Stützle in along the half board, sends it back, and just kept in by Sanderson. To Stützle, back into the slot. Cousins doesn't shoot it. Sanderson has it. His shot is deflecting and going up into the screen as the Leafs continue to block shots in front of Anthony Stolarz.
You see, I think Ottawa gets frustrated to an extent, don't they, Joe, where there's just no lanes are opening up in the middle of the ice. Now, mind you, it was from long range with traffic in front of the 5-on-3 that Claude Giroux was able to sift one home.
I think Brandon Carlo. No, that did get through. Stolarz did get a shoulder on it. I stand corrected. Draw to his right. 51 seconds in the power play. 4:11 in the period. A 1-1 tie. Draw scrum, but controlled by Ottawa. Chabot, second unit on the ice for the Senators. Chabot on the far side gets the pass back into the slot. They'll try again from the right wing side. Cousins trying to get it into the slot area. Knocked away by the Leafs, and out and down the ice it'll go. Penalty kill brought to you by Ontario Honda dealers. Get home ice advantage on every drive with the new Civic Hybrid. Proudly built here in Ontario. Visit your Ontario Honda dealers today. Poke check there at the blue line prevents the Senators from getting in cleanly. Now they'll shoot it in. Round on the board. Stolarz couldn't trap it for his defense, but it is Nyes battling on the near boards. Couple of Leafs in there. Tanev got it clean into the corner, and it is fired off a body into the Ottawa bench. Whose body did it go off of? Scott Lawton's or the Ottawa Senator?
I think Scotty Lawton tried to deflect it out himself and just got a little high on the left wing boards and into the Ottawa bench.
3:23 left to play in the period. Senators with 16 shots, the Leafs with 11, and 3 seconds remain in the power play.
Leafs just 4 shots on goal here in the second.
Draw scrummed. Puck comes back to the point, near side. Zub with a drive, kicked away nicely by Stolarz. And now the Leafs have it under control with the man back on the ice, and the penalty expired. Played off a stick and down into Ottawa territory. 3:07 to play in the period. Sanderson is back at the net for Zub. Long lead pass ahead over the line, broken up by Tavares. The Leafs counter with a pass ahead for Nylander. Back to Tavares, going wide. Tavares closing in. Tavares around the net, tried to stuff it in the short side, but he came up about 3 inches short. Tavares on the right wing boards now with it. Into the slot for Willie, into the slot for Riley. Back to Nylander, coming in front, and it bounced just wide of the net. Nylander trying to force it wide. Puck comes back to the point. Riley keeps it in with a shot that was blocked. Pacioretty back of the net and around the boards to the near side. Kept in by Brandon Carlo. Trapped by Zub back of the goal, and he'll get it into the near corner. And Sanderson with a lead pass comes to center. But the Leafs come right back in with it. Pontus Holmberg into the corner. Boy, he could have gone down there. Could have been a penalty, couldn't it? Here's Zub getting it out at center and down into the Leaf end. Icing waved off. Stolarz gives it back to Tanev. Tanev will give it to McCabe. He'll get it out at center ice. Brought on now by Tanev, who's into the rush. Chris Tanev dropping for Domi. Domi in the slot, almost from the same spot that he scored at. But this one was blocked before it reached the goal. Minute 44 to go in the period. 1-1 tie. Puck in the center ice area and down into the Leaf end with Tkachuk taken to the boards. Puck is back at the net. And it is pushed off the wall, and out at center ice comes Simon Benoit. Benoit takes it wide on the right wing. Bursts down into the corner, tried to center it, hit the side of the goal. Matthews unable to get to it cleanly, and the Senators are breaking it out at center ice. Stützle in on the right wing, chased by Benoit. Stützle gives the puck away to Benoit, although he didn't realize it initially, and he drops it off for Marner, who's stationed back of the net. Minute 6 to go here in the period. Sens took a 1-0 lead on the power play on a goal by Giroux. Nyes scoring his second of this series to tie the game also on the power play. The Giroux goal came 5-on-3. Back to the point, a long shot. Pad save made by Stolarz. Played around back of the net by Brandon Carlo. Riley gets it ahead at center for Tavares. Rink wide looking for Willie. Nylander into the slot. A shot. Boy, rebound. Oh, Tavares stopped. Another shot. Blocked in front of the net there on a sprawling play by Ullmark. Leafs keep the puck in. Near side. Tavares trying to get it in front of the goal, and Ullmark is going to cover up on it.
Boy, dangerous play by the Leafs. Maybe the most dangerous one, Joe, is Tavares from below the goal line behind the net. With Ullmark down, tried to hammer it low and bank it in off the Ottawa goaltender.
Great opportunity for Tavares.
Yeah, I mean, he had two. The rebound off the backboards, and then turn and try to fire it off Ullmark. Leafs looking for the greasy little goals. But boy, Ullmark had actually turned the wrong way.
Yes, he had.
25.1 seconds to go here in the second. 1-1.
Draw to the left in the Ottawa goal zone, won by the Leafs. Matthews gets it back to the point. Tanev with a direction in front of the net. Deflected by Marner up into the screen. Chris Tanev, no intention at all at shooting that at the net. He was looking for the redirect.
Well, we've said before, I mean, you think of him as a guy that just blocks a lot of shots, but his hockey IQ is impressive.
Face-off coming in the Ottawa zone. Nylander wins it cleanly. Back to the point it comes to to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Now to Marner. Marner stick handling back at the blue line, and it comes to the line and out. Oliver Ekman-Larsson did a great job of trying to
Sell it.
camouflage that. But the linesman makes the right call.
8.9 seconds to go. By the way, so Ottawa leading for the first time in this series when they score at 1:38 of the second period. But that lasts just less than 7 minutes. Matthew Nye scored at 8:31 from Nylander and Marner on the power play.
Just 8.9 seconds to go in the period. And the Senators will control the faceoff. Step out at center and get it to the red line. And now further, 2 seconds left, and that will do it.
Well, I think you like what you saw in this period, and that maybe the Leafs guilty of sitting back a little bit, although you've got the penalty kill doing most of the work in the second period, including the 5-on-3. It's tough to respond back offensively, but the Leafs do get a power play of their own finally and get a big break. We've seen a lot of power play goals go in off skates, haven't we?
Yeah.
We saw Tavares score off Nick Jensen's skate, and now we saw Brendan Carlo have one go in off his skate when Tkachuk scored, and there the Matthew Nyes went off a friendly skate and into the net for Toronto.
Leafs outshoot the Sens 10-9 in the period, have been outshot 18-14 in the first 40 minutes. And Giroux for Ottawa, Nyes for the Maple Leafs will step aside for Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert. 1-1 tie, Game 3. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Well, buckle up. We get set for the start of the third period that is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Shots on goal favor Ottawa 18-14. It's been a tightly checked, tightly played hockey game. A 1-1 tie. Giroux with his first from Sanderson and Batherson when the Leafs were 2 men short. And then a power play goal for the Maple Leafs. They're 5th in 8 tries. Nyes from Nylander and Marner at 8:31.
Not a lot of pretty ones.
No. And it's been
to the net.
It's been literally different than the regular season.
Yeah, it's
where they tried to pass the puck into the net, as Pat Quinn used to say. Instead, it's just take it to the net.
Yeah, throw it there.
Get it there.
Look for the lucky bounce that they've been able to get. By the way, when tied into the third period this year, Ottawa 7-5-5. The Leafs 8-5-1 when tied after 2.
Played out at center ice. Leafs to the right. Senators to the left. It goes down into the corner. Zub got it around the boards. Cut off by Marner. He tried to center. That hit a leg. He gets it back again in front. Matthews took a swipe at it, and it went off a leg and went harmlessly to the near boards. Matthews with it again. Into the slot area. Back to the point. Carlo whipping it high and wide of the net. Kept in by Riley. Back at the goal center. Back they score! Austin Matthews set up adroitly there by Marner. The Leafs have the lead for the first time in the game.
Leafs continue to control the puck in the Ottawa zone. But the puck thrown around the boards. I believe it's Morgan Riley that threw it around the boards to behind the net where Mitch Marner just one touch redirects it out short side. Linus Ullmark has no idea where the puck is. He thinks Marner's going to hold on to it. He's looking to his right. It came out to his left to Austin Matthews. And Matthews has his first of this series.
Is that the first goal he's ever scored in Ottawa?
In the playoffs? Yes.
So the Leafs for the 2-1 lead. Shabbat carries to center. Poked away by McCabe. Out Tanev along the boards, reverses the puck for his defense partner. McCabe gingerly gets it ahead for Tavares. On ahead at center, and Pontus Holmberg slides it in wide of the post. It comes in front of the net off a pass from Pacioretty, who's on this line now. Played off the boards and back to the point. Long shot deflects wide of the Ottawa goal. Pacioretty into the forecheck on the pass. Comes out at center ice, and the Sens get it in on the left wing. Stützle from an angle, and that was deflected up into the screen and out of play. Austin Matthews with his first of this series.
I mean, you and I talked about that before we came on the air tonight that if Ottawa was worried about something, it might be that Austin Matthews hasn't scored yet. You knew he was due, but with all due respect to the goal-scoring phenom, captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, a lot of guys would have been able to put that in. Great redirection pass from behind the net by Mitch Marner, and Linus Ullmark is looking the wrong way.
Well, you would know how easy it is for guys to score when you're looking the wrong way as a goalie. Played down into the Ottawa zone. Another centering pass blocked. It goes to Lorenz. Lorenz steps in front of the net, tried to find Yarncrook, but it was broken up. And the Senators will break it out with Zetterlund getting it down into the Toronto zone and rolling it wide of the Toronto net. On the near boards. Grabbed off there by Lorenz, played around back of the net for Benoit, pushed ahead at center ice, and Lorenz with skating room now has to kick it ahead because his stick broke. The puck comes back and played to the open wing. Lorenz will get to the bench without any issues. And now here's Sanderson trying to get across the line. Broken up there at the line by Bobby McMahon. Round on the boards, a centering pass. Good play made by Morgan Riley to break that up. Now Pacioretty into the rush. Pacioretty to the right wing side for Domi. Couldn't get it in front of the net. He had Riley breaking into the rush as well. And the Sens will get it back out at center ice. Played by Gaudette to the near boards, but that's broken up, and Pacioretty is there. Played to the line, not in. Leafs have brought back by Perron. Long shot, directed wide of the goal there by Stolars. He didn't realize where the rebound had went. Now it's cleared by the Leafs down the ice, and this will be an icing call against Toronto. 17-18 to go in the period. The goal comes, 32 seconds into the third period. Marner and Riley, who continues to have a marvelous series, are the assists.
Yeah, Morgan Riley's been outstanding in this series. A couple of goals. But I was going to say it's a horrible moment for a goaltender. Those shots that go wide, hit the glass, and then you don't know where they're coming back.
Whether you're getting the direction of the rebound off the glass that you expect, or it's
bouncing in front of you,
coming off the stanchion and going the wrong way. But what a touch pass by Marner. Tanev playing it up on the wing. Pacioretty bodies his man there against Tkachuk and is able to launch it off the glass and get it out. Good play by the veteran Pacioretty there. Cross the line for Giroux. Got it into the corner. Pacioretty's under his man to the ice there as Sanderson went down. Here's to Tkachuk into the corner now. Stützle trying to work out of the corner. Works it back towards the blue line. Sends it back from whence it came. Tkachuk being hounded there by Jake McCabe as it comes to Pacioretty, and he gets it over everyone's head and down the ice. But it'll be an icing, and it'll come back into the Toronto zone with 16:29 to go in the third period. The difference in this team and other years in the playoffs, an icing and you're concerned because they don't handle things well in their own end. This year, it's just no problem. We'll take a face off and everything seems to work out. Now, lots of things can happen, but overall this year, that has been...
It starts to increase, doesn't it?
It does.
With all due respect.
With everything, yeah. But it with Tanev and McCabe and the defense corps, they just do not panic, and they win face-offs, and here they've won another. And Chris Tanev will go to his defense partner. McCabe returns the favor. Tanev makes a pretty good play, getting it back to McCabe. He'll get it off the boards on the left wing, and Matthews gets it out at center. And Nyes outfights his man to play to open ice, but Marner couldn't come up with it. Now it's played around the boards in the Ottawa zone. Played up on the wing and scooped out at center ice by Pinto. And it's to the center ice area. But now here are the Leafs getting it back. And Brendan Carlo hammers it right back down into Ottawa territory. Jensen around back of the net. Starts back up on the right wing. Leafs 2, Ottawa 1. Early goal by Austin Matthews here in the third period. Leafs fans chanting and the Ottawa fans trying to drown them out, but you can see a lot of blue jerseys in the lower bowl specifically. Now it's back down into the Toronto zone. Good check there by Nylander, who broke up the rush, and Morgan Riley's leading the rush. He drops it back for Tavares. He doesn't shoot it. Tavares working back on the near half boards. Tavares to the side with a shot. Blockered away there by Ullmark. Kept in at the point by Nylander. Back in along the boards now for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg playing it around the boards for Benoit. Benoit will send it back from whence it came. It goes to the far corner. Trying to pinch there was Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He got upended. It comes out into the center ice area, but the Leafs have it under control. Near boards for Benoit. Dropped it back quickly to the right wing side. Steered all the way back into the zone to allow the Leafs to change. Then a bad pass comes off the boards down into Ottawa territory. Senators Artem Zub getting it up on the right wing, and it is Gaudette getting it into the Toronto zone. McCabe takes a hit from Cousins, but makes the play, and the Leafs get it out at center ice. It's volleyballed ahead with a hand pass to stop play. 14:28 to go in the second period. The Leafs trying to take a stranglehold on this series, up 2-0 now.
And 5.5 minutes into this third period, only the one shot on goal, and that was the Matthews marker in the first minute. You'll remember that Ottawa's first shot on goal in the third period of Game 2 was their goal. But it came with a little over 5 minutes to go in regulation time. So Leafs did a pretty good job of protecting the lead, although I'm sure Craig Berube would want a little more of a push offensively here in Ottawa.
Against the boards, pushed up on the wing nicely there by Tanev. Leafs get it high to center ice. Nyes knocked his man down, but Matthews couldn't come away with the loose puck. Pass partially blocked by Nyes, gets up on the wing, and bumbling there was Mario, and the Leafs take advantage to get it ahead to Marner. Marner to Matthews through center ice, slid into the zone in the right wing corner, and he goes in there after it with a hit against Shabbat. Couldn't get it in front. It hit the back of the net. He had Marner coming down the slot. Zub on the right side for Amadio. Taken into the boards nicely and ridden off the puck by the Maple Leafs winger Bobby McMahon. As it comes to the side of the goal, the Leafs have it under control back of the net with Marner. Marner taking a look, now trying to direct a little bit of traffic. Maybe if I stand here for the next 13 minutes and 27 seconds, no one will come and get me. He now gets it out. The Leafs send it down into the Ottawa zone. There is a rule about that.
Yes.
But hey, I suppose if you keep stick handling and look like you're going with it. Now the Leafs back of the goal. Pacioretty couldn't get it out in front. And Giroux sends a rink-wide pass, and here's Stützle across the line, dropping it off for Tkachuk. And his shot is ramped off the stick of Chris Tanev. What an art that is. He just, okay, you loaded up. I'm just going to put this here at this angle, and we'll face it off over here.
And the reaction by Brady Tkachuk as if, like, you, well, I'm not going to say what I'm pretty sure he said.
It's just public radio. You can't be saying stuff like that. 2-1 in favor of the Leafs. We'll sort it out when we come back. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Austin Matthews with his first goal of these playoffs from Marner and Riley. At 32 seconds of the period, and the Leafs have a 2-1 lead as they get it down into the zone again, and Lorenz down into the corner. Trying to dig it free for Scott Lawton, who was out in front. Yarncrook got upended, and the Sens will get it out with Tkachuk. Getting it off to Stützle. Long shot by Tkachuk, went well wide. It comes to the point, kept in there as it goes down into the corner. At least OEL got taken off the puck, but now gets his stick back and looks to play it back up on the boards, and they do, and the Leafs are going to get it out with Lawton playing it off on the left wing for Benoit to center ice, and he shoots it in to Ottawa territory. Fourth line has done such a wonderful job in their own end of the rink. They get it out, they get the forecheck going, they spend more time in the other half of the building than they do in their own zone. Shabbat, a pass that's a bad one, but knocked away at center ice. Then shot by Senators into the Toronto zone. Out of the net, Stolars to play it up on the wing, and the Leafs deflected out at center ice. Not a lot of long stretch passes or anything fancy. The Leafs just trying to gain the zone. And now Tavares has it up against the boards, and Pontus Holmberg turns. He stick handles with it to play it ahead, and Riley, he'll deposit it deep into Ottawa territory. Ullmark leaving it back at the net. Senators can't be upset with Linus Ullmark tonight. He's played very, very well. And really no chance on the go-ahead goal here in the third period. And icing call, I think.
Yeah,
which is being booed by the...
Adam Gaudette and Chris Tanev race back into the Leaf zone. Close race. Senators fans don't agree with who the winner was.
Don't know how many Leaf fans are in the building. Obviously, we don't have a camera shot to show the whole rink. But every time they do show a shot of the stands, there's a Leaf fan in it somewhere in the picture. So I got to assume that if it's not half, it's probably a third.
Yeah, I mean, we still saw Senators jerseys at Scotiabank Arena.
Two of them.
Saw both of them.
And now when you do see a crowd shot, there is a lot of blue in the building. Suppose they were going to scare them away with the price of the tickets. Played down into the Ottawa zone. Shot down into the Leaf end. And is grabbed off by OEL, who gets it up on the wing, and the Leafs battle hard to get it out at center, and Matthews in across the line, stops it up, looks for a little room, sends it down into the corner for Nyes. Nyes trying to get it away there from Sanderson. Left it there for Matthews. Matthews plays around to the far wing, pinching in as the defense. Tanev to keep it in into the near corner. Matthews trying to get it away. Marner does. Sends it back of the net. Zub tangled up there with Nyes. Marner unable to keep it in, and the Sens will get it out at center ice. Amadio had it knocked off his stick, and the Leafs have control in their own zone, and a change of players coming for both teams. Jake McCabe looks for his defense partner, and Tanev with a pass off a stick down into Ottawa territory. Into the corner goes Lorenz after it. Lorenz sweeping it around the boards to the far side. Kept in by Carlo back of the net. Here's the fourth line doing what it does best. Forecheck and keep the puck on the boards in the offensive zone. Scotty Lawton around back of the net. Back to the point. Brandon Carlo lets it go, and it went wide. Now a point shot by Riley is blocked. Carlo keeping it in again. Another shot goes high and wide. Riley with the puck on the near boards. Down in front of the net, a deflection. Another shot blocked there by Ullmark off the shoulder. Lorenz with a great chance. And then he back checks his way to clear it back in. What a shift by, I don't know if you can call them the fourth line anymore.
And if you took a poll right now, like you said, they might have been bumped up to number 3, but they've been great at both ends of the ice.
Down into the zone. Icing waved off. Stolars plays around the boards to center. Cleared by Tavares to the blue line, but no deeper. And the Senators have it with 9:19 to play in the third. Leafs 2, Ottawa 1. Down into the corner and overskating the puck was Stützle. Tkachuk can't get to it. Tavares chops it ahead. Pontus Ullmark will get it out at center and play it off the boards down into Ottawa territory. Nick Jensen goes back. Long lead pass will be deflected down into the Toronto zone, but Stolars is there to tuck it back to McCabe, who plays it over to Tanev, and here's that dynamic duo getting it out again. Bobby McMahon in with a backhand, and on the short side, that is swallowed up by Ullmark and held for a face-off in the Ottawa zone. Leafs 2, Senators 1. This is Game 3 from Ottawa. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It's 2-1 Toronto here in Game 3. Time to take a 3-0 lead. The news isn't as good elsewhere.
Well, it depends on who you're cheering for. The Florida Panthers look to take a 2-0 stranglehold, winning both games in Tampa. It is 2-0. Nate Schmidt scored his third goal of the series early on, and that stood up. I mean, you've seen the Florida Panthers do that, right? Just suffocate you.
But the issue here, at least this season, was Tampa was so much better at home as the shot scores off the rush. Tkachuk has it go off a Leaf defenseman's stick and beats Stolars to tie the game.
And much like Game 2, the first shot of the third period for the Senators finds the net. As the Leafs get caught The Domi line kind of gets caught in coverage. I don't know if this does go off anybody, Joe. Looking at it from a different angle, it looks like
might have gone off Carlo's stick. I don't know. You might be right, Jimmy. I couldn't tell.
been a bit of a strain, but Brady Tkachuk.
That is their first shot on goal.
Yeah.
First shot on goal in the period. Comes at 11:22, and Tkachuk ties the game. So we've got a contest here. Played down into the Toronto zone. Icing waved off. Leafs have it in the near corner, but give the puck away. But they'll get it up on the wing for Nyes. Nyes can't clear as it's back around the boards to the far side. Oliver Ekman-Larsson chipping it ahead, trying to tip it out. It does. It comes to Nyes on the near wing. He's going to drop it back into his own zone. Brady Tkachuk gets the Senators into a tie. Matthews trying to steal the puck in the corner. Had it taken off his stick. Nyes couldn't get to it. McCabe pinches down the boards to try and keep it in, but the Senators get it out. Marner chops it right back in again, and the Leafs have to go back now as the Senators are able to bring it out. Senator fans chanting Brady, Brady. Leaf fans were extending that cheer. Played down into the Toronto zone, and Nylander turns in his own territory. Works it up on the right wing now for Tavares. Back for Willie off his skate. It goes into the near corner. Nylander got it around back of the net, but Tavares couldn't get there in time. And now the Senators break it out at center ice with a pass on the right side for Nick Jensen. Into the slot, a shot! Oh, what a save made there by Stolarz. His best of the game. Back by the Leafs come with Nylander. Dropping for Tavares. Gives it back to Willie. Nylander with a pass in front of the net, and it was deflected. Comes to Riley on the left wing boards. Back to the point to Benoit. Shot. Where's the puck? It goes wide. Centering pass in the goal crease. Knocked away, and it's going to go around back of the net. Leafs come out with it again. Tavares against the boards fighting for it. Leafs keep it in. Benoit long shot. And it's off of Ullmark and taken to safety by Nick Jensen.
Good response by the Leafs and the Tavares line here in the third.
Brought to center with 6:40 to play in the third period. Stolarz out of the net to play it around the boards. Good hit by Benoit to stop up Cousins there. Puck in the corner in the Toronto zone, though. Dug out and played up on the wing, but not out. Back of the net it goes for Perron. David Perron trying to work out in front. Still has it on the near boards. Back of the net it goes for Gaudette. Gaudette to the point. Into the slot. Long shot in traffic, deflects wide. Near corner, but good pressure here from Ottawa. Far side for Lorenz. Got it airmailed and high to center ice. Down into Ottawa territory to allow a change of players. Gaudette played it ahead, but it's intercepted. But Marner couldn't get in over the line. Senators will dump it back into Toronto territory. Reversed nicely there by Tanev. Puck comes up on the wing for Matthews. Again, a pass that Marner didn't handle, and it's shot down the ice by Ottawa. And an icing call is coming here against the Senators. Tkachuk from Giroux and Clevin is the scoring play for the Ottawa Senators.
The Senators end up scoring off the rush and then have a great opportunity off the rush right after that. Only 2 shots on goal for Ottawa. One finds the net, and the other one, Anthony Stolarz had to be sharp to stop Batherson.
Domi scrummed the draw, but the puck goes around back of the net. Sens get it up on the wing, but not out of the zone. It's cleared to the line and will come out at center. Domi will play it back now to the defense, and Carlo will give it to Morgan Riley, who gets it up to Domi off his stick and into the zone. McMahon into the forecheck with a hit there against Clevin. Good hit by Pacioretty, but the puck comes free, and the Sens get it out into neutral ice and will shoot it back into the Toronto zone. And then a hit along the boards, but we can't see anymore. Not sure if there was a additional hit or not, but the puck goes back to the far boards, and it's played back into the Toronto end as the Leafs will change. Jake McCabe looks for his defense partner, then decides to carry it. He'll get it to Tanev. Tanev to Nyes. Nyes didn't get it in deep, and the Senators get back to center ice and shoot it right back in again. Far side for Amadio. Taken to the boards by Chris Tanev. Amadio came out of it, got it back to the point. Shot was blocked. Leafs are going to get it out at center, and it is McCabe carrying it to the red line, bouncing it in wide of the goal. Nyes forces the puck to the end boards, tries to one-hand it to Matthews. He sends it back into the far corner. Marner gets it back to the point, gets it returned, centering pass. Didn't reach Nyes, and it's cleared to center ice by Ottawa, and it'll be Oliver Ekman-Larsson going back. Up ahead for Benoit. Benoit to center. Got it in over the line. Grabbed off by Benoit again and sent into the near corner in the Ottawa zone. Senators play it ahead, and this is ticking down with 3:54 to play in the third. Tied at 2s. Senators across the line. Batherson had it taken away by Pontus Holmberg. Played around the boards then by Ekman-Larsson, and Tavares gets it ahead, and a rink-wide pass springs Morgan Rielly. Rielly in across the line, dropping for Tavares. Tavares a little stutter step, working around back of the net, keeps the control of the puck, still with it, trying to center to the far side, and Rielly had it bounce over his stick. Rielly goes back to the blue line with it, though, coming wide on the left with a shot that was blocked by Zub in front of the net. Stützle will take it to safety back of the Ottawa goal and try to start out with it. Tim Stützle to center. In on the left wing. Toe drag move. Didn't make it through with a good block made there by Brandon Carlo. Back comes Pontus Holmberg to center, along with Domi. Domi takes the pass and stops it up. Looks for a man in the corner. Found his man and played around back of the net for Pacioretty. Pacioretty one-handing the puck along the boards. Got Domi's support. Now here's Bobby McMahon trying to come out with it. Back to the point it goes to McCabe. McCabe can't send it D to D. Gets it into the corner. Side of the goal. Pacioretty couldn't tip it out in front. And the Senators have it back in their own zone. Brought to center ice. Ottawa trying to move through neutral ice with Nick Cousins sending it deep into the Toronto end. Out of the net, Stolarz for Tanev. A pass to center. Poked to the red line, but not in. It'll come back in on the right wing side and shot in around back of the Toronto goal. That took a bit of a crazy bounce. Good play by Scott Lawton to block a path to the front of the net. And a good hit along the boards that's drawn a little bit of attention. Played back down into the Ottawa zone. Launched high to center ice by the Senators. Corralled by Benoit. D to D pass in his own zone. And Brady Tkachuk must be on the ice. They're chanting his name. Played back into the Toronto zone. Benoit stretching things out. Comes back to his defense partner, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who gets it ahead for Marner. Marner coming through neutral ice. Gave the puck away on a bad pass, but Matthews stole it back. And now Nyes has it on the backhand. Can't get a shot away. Senators overskate the puck. Here's Marner. Tripped in front of Francis Saint-Laurent. No call. Played down into the Toronto zone. Minute 20 to go in the third. I understand it's late in the third period of a tie game. Okay, we'll live with it. But my goodness. Here's Nylander in across the line. Stops up at the near half boards. Paid it back to the blue line for Morgan Rielly. He can do no more than to send it down around back of the Ottawa goal with a minute left in regulation time. Holmberg can't keep it in. Senators will play it down into the Toronto zone. Stolarz out of the cage, looks around, plays it into the corner, but it's blocked by Stützle. Centering pass back to the point. Jensen to the far side, and the shot deflects wide of the Leaf goal. Good play by Tavares to get it to the line, but not out. Played to the far side, and now Tanev will make sure it gets out to Pontus Holmberg to center. Holmberg will flip in and go to the bench, and it is the fourth line that's out there now for the Leafs, and Yarncrook into the forecheck. Back of the goal for Nick Jensen. 23 seconds left in the period. Played high to center ice. Bouncing puck played back into the slot area and out at center and down to the Ottawa blue line. 13 seconds left. We're possibly heading to overtime. Centering pass comes back on the wing. Shot by Giroux. Blocked. Another shot blocked by Benoit. Into the corner. 3 seconds. He's going to try and pin it there, and he'll do just that. We're going to overtime for the second game in the series. Second consecutive game in the series.
Again, you've got Scott Lawton and former teammate Claude Giroux giving each other rapid punches to end the period. So this Very similar to what we saw in game number 2, where the Leafs had the lead in the third period. Ottawa would score on their first shot on goal. This time it was still past the midway mark of the period. And that's going to be enough to send it to overtime as the captains split goals in the third.
But the Leafs did a great job of shutting that period down, except for that one play, right? 4-2.
Just off the
4-2,
rush.
the shots on goal favoring Toronto.
And I would say 95 times out of 100, Anthony Stolarz makes that save, or Carlo gets a piece of it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to overtime, and that means that Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert have to work overtime, too. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs and Senators coming back onto the ice. Second consecutive game to require overtime. Max Domi was the hero a couple of nights ago at 3:09 of the overtime period from Simon Benoit, who is going to be the hero tonight. Giroux and Tkachuk have scored the goals for Ottawa. They are on the outside of Nyes and Matthews scoring for Toronto. Nyes with his second, Matthews with his first. The Giroux goal came on a 5-on-3 power play opportunity for Ottawa in the first period, or in the second period, after a scoreless first. Shots favor Ottawa 20-18 after 3 periods of play. Just 4-2 for Toronto in the third period as the Leafs tried to lock things down and pretty much did that, I would have to say.
Yeah, and right after they scored on their first shot, Anthony Stolarz was forced to make a pretty important right pad save to keep this game tied at 2.
So it goes to overtime. Don't get excited. That's a replay that we're hearing the replay noise from the crowd as we watch the teams get ready here on our television monitors.
I believe it's the third overtime game between these two clubs in the Battle of Ontario in Ottawa.
And the Sens will get it to the red line and shoot it in. Stolarz slows it up and stops it back at the goal and gives it off to Brandon Carlo. Carlo playing it ahead, and it'll get out at center and down into Ottawa territory. Zub plays it up on the boards. Pinching there was Marner, kept alive on the near boards then by Matthews, but it pokes its way to center, and Carlo will stretch things out with Marner going back deeper into his own territory. Marner for Brandon Carlo, who comes up the right wing boards, waits for teammates and sends it in. Pontus Holmberg off a change will deflect it around to the far corner, but the Senators get it there and get it out into neutral ice. Puck is swept back by Toronto, but brought in over the line by Shane Pinto. He got around one man, but can't get around Tanev. Reverses the puck there for Jake McCabe. He outweights the forecheck, finds Tanev. Tanev outlets ahead, and now Nylander circling back in his own end. Played it off on the left wing side for McCabe. Back it comes for Tanev. Tanev trying to find Nylander, but the pass was out of his reach. Senators have it in their own zone. Moving right to left are the Senators. Leafs intercept and get the puck in over the line. A pass on the wing for Domi. And he took a shot on the short side on a fairly sharp angle. Hey, action's got to feel good about overtime. Why not try it? And Ullmark makes a fairly easy save.
I do believe the 2 previous goal scorers in overtime in that building were Mike Fisher and Matt Sundin. Remember, Sundin's was the goal that gave the Leafs a 1-0 win in game 1. And that was a series they swept, and a lot of people thought the Leafs were going to get swept. Ottawa had a much better regular season.
Face off to the right of goaltender Ullmark. And puck not dropped. Now it is, and the Leafs win the draw. Shot by Benoit, scores! Benoit! Holy Mackinac of all people! He sets up the winner in game 2. He wins game 3. Simon Benoit!
Ben Orr. Face off one straight back. And I don't know if this goes off a Senator, if it's a screen, but Ullmark didn't flinch. And Simon Benoit just blasted it from the left point. Right in front of the Leaf bench. What a shot on goal for Toronto. And Joe, I was about to say a little earlier, both teams, obviously, you have some nervousness in overtime, but Ottawa knows what this means. This was just, everyone went to the front of the net, and Allmark does not see this. Matthews goes to the front, Nyes goes to the front. Couple of Senators with them.
This is Corey Cross all over again. All over again. Simon Benoit has scored six career goals in the regular season in 279 games. He scores the biggest goal of his career. He kind of got the shoo-shoo on the celebration of the Domi goal, right? He was over by himself. There is no shoo-shoo here tonight. Simon Benoit is the scoring hero, and the Leafs win it by a score of 3-2.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Ottawa, twice, back-to-back games, they battle back in the third period to tie it, to send it to overtime. But we've talked about it, and we know this is just the beginning of what is hopefully going to be a long road. There is a composure about this team that you never feel, like you said even last game. They give up that goal late, and you'd feel that, oh no,
here it comes.
Yeah, here now we've blown another lead. What's the playoffs again?
They don't flinch.
No, and yet, they just seem to rise to the moment. And Anthony Stolarz, what's that, 11 straight now? Mm-hmm. Even though he gave up a horrendous 2 goals in this game.
Oh, boy.
And was outstanding.
That goals against average is going to get inflated way past the 1.95. At any rate, the Leafs win it in overtime, and we've got the 3 stars of the game, and they are brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance. It's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Can I do the first star? Can I do the first star?
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Third star.
Bobby Hastings.
Third star, I'm going to go Ottawa, Brady Tkachuk. He scores the big goal in the third period. He was a force, whether you like him or not. And everybody said he's the type of player that is built for the postseason. Scores a big goal. Looked like he got hurt at one point in the second period, but battled back to play. And Brady Tkachuk, star number 3 for the Ottawa Senators. Star number 2, that's the hard one.
Yeah, it is.
Because there were a lot of guys that I thought contributed, both offensively and defensively.
Mitch Marner had 2 assists.
But you know what? Austin Matthews, first goal of the postseason. It was a big one early in the third at the time, and a big goal at the time early in the third period. I'll go star number 2, and why not? Mr. Overtime.
Absolutely.
Simon Benoit with the overtime blast.
You know what?
But he's
I picked him too for first star.
But the thing is, you can still look at how he played defensively and say he's in the mix.
Yes.
Blocking shots, being physical, really good along the boards and heavy with some big hits for the Leafs. But we got to throw him the bouquet simply because his blast through a maze finds the back of the net, and Austin Matthews as well with a big face-off win on the Benoit goal. So Leafs take a stranglehold in the series, and we will see if they can put it away on Saturday night.
Well, they'll get an opportunity on Saturday evening. We will have that game for you at 7 o'clock. We hope that you will join us. Until then, plenty to talk about, plenty to celebrate. And Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert are coming your way. Final score, the Leafs 3, Ottawa 2 in overtime. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.